Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. So for the past year, I've been using this, the Canon 5D Mark II from 2008. It is a full frame 21 megapixel beast and it has a nice L lens, so it's just a really nice camera. But this camera, well, yes, it's very good. It has its flaws. It doesn't have continuous autofocus and it doesn't have a tilty flippy screen. So when I'm filming stuff like this, it can be very hard. But today I've solved that. So how did I solve it? There are lots of different cameras on the market, including the Canon M50, the Sony A7C, or the Canon 250D. Nope, I didn't want to spend that much. So the other day I went out and I brought a 700D from 2013. So why did I buy a camera from 2013 when I already have one from 2008? Two simple things, and I've already mentioned them. This has continuous autofocus and a tilty flippy screen, and it takes EF and EFS lenses, which as a Canon shooter already, I have quite a lot of Canon glass, and I'm probably about 16 feet away. I'm on the 55mm, so I'm going to come to you. You're going to see my microphone, and then let's zoom back out again. So what are some of the specs of it? Well, it has an 18 megapixel hybrid CMOS sensor with dual pixel autofocus. It does have a very lightweight body because, well, it is designed for beginners. It does have two microphones on the top for stereo sound. Now, I'm not recording internal microphone right now, but if I switch over right now, you guys will hear what it sounds like. And there we go. One thing though, I need to move this because it is getting wet. So I have now changed bodies. This is my 5D Mark II, and this is the 700D. In comparison, this is just tiny. It comes with a standard 18 to 55mm f3.5 to 5.6 kit lens, a tilty flippy screen, which Canon is really well known for in majority of their cameras. Not all of them, but most of them. It shoots 1920 by 1080 at 24, 25 and 30 frames per second. Now, you can get a slow-mo in a way because this can shoot at 50 or 60 frames per second, but in 720p. So I would not recommend doing that. So the 700D is a crop sensitive camera, which means because it isn't a full frame body, you have to times your lenses by 1.6, or with a Nikon 1.5. So what does that mean for you? Well, this 18 to 55mm isn't an 18 to 55mm. It is actually a 28mm when on a full frame camera, as something like the 5D Mark II, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because you can get more reach out of smaller lenses. So for example, this, as I said, this 18 to 55 isn't actually an 18 to 55, it is a 28mm. Now this lens that you're currently viewing me on is a 24mm for comparison. So they are both still pretty wide, but it's not as wide as 18 to 55. Now this can shoot at an ISO of 256,000. I would not suggest that, purely because, for starters, this kit lens isn't very good. It's an f3.5 and it's a crop censored camera, so the sensor isn't very big to begin with, because the smaller the sensor, the less light is going to hit it, because the room's just not there. So how can you combat this bad low light ability? Well, there is one way to do it, and that is one of these, a fast prime, f1.8, £100. This is probably one of, if not the cheapest lenses that you can find. And to be fair, it isn't really bad. I have done a video on the 50-50, go check it out on my channel. So, as I said, because this is a cross-section, this lens, this 50 mm, doesn't become a 50 mm when attached to a cockpit body. This actually becomes an 85 mm, which isn't too bad. It's still a really nice lens, and to be honest, it's even more nifty. And because obviously because of Canon colours, it's really nice. Now, one big problem with mirrorless is the lens selection. There aren't that many really going around, and what there are, they can be very, very expensive. So investing in DSLR can be very beneficial, purely because you have that lens selection there, because DSLRs are still well established within the industry. A lot of wedding photographers still use them, and most sports photographers will still be using a Canon 1DX or a Nikon D5 or whatever. They won't really be using Sony, not because Sony is not good, but because Sony doesn't have that continuous burst of shots. You know, the Canon 1DX is unlimited burst. You can never fill up the buffer, meaning you can get the near 20 frames per second forever until the battery dies, or until you just take your finger off it. So, is the Canon 700D good in 2020? Yes. For £300, yes. I would recommend it, and that's why I bought it. This is my camera. This is going to be my B camera, rather than this. I want to try and leave this at home and shoot with this now. I mean, I'm still gonna use this, but this will be used for stills, and this will be video. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next one.